Bienvenidos! Today we're going to talk about past participles used as adjectives in Spanish. Past participles are words that talk about something that happened. And in English, they're usually words that end in ed. And we form them in English by taking the verb and putting ed on the end. In English, there are some irregulars, so some participles don't end in ed. Now, in Spanish, when we're talking about adjectives, we know that there are differences in how adjectives are used in English and in Spanish. In Spanish, adjectives come after the noun, and they agree in gender and number with the noun that they're modifying. So we know already going in that when we talk about adjectives in Spanish, we're talking about placing the adjective after the noun that it describes, and we're talking about making the adjective agree in gender and number with the noun it's describing. So we know that when we use past participles in Spanish as adjectives, we're still going to have to conform to the rules for using adjectives in Spanish. And in Spanish, to form the past participle, just like in English where we add ed on the end, in Spanish we add an ending, but it's different for AR verbs than it is for ER and IR verbs. So in Spanish, the ed on the end for AR verbs is ado. And for ER and IR verbs, it's ido. So we just take the verb stem in Spanish. If it's an AR verb, we add ado. If it's an IR verb, we add ido. And that's the same as in English, adding ed on the end to form a past participle. So let's do an example here. Rivers need reduced pollution. Okay, now in this sentence, what is the past participle in English? It's going to be reduced. It ends in ed, and it's describing the type of pollution that rivers need. So how are we going to do this in Spanish? Los ríos necesitan Okay, now how are we going to put this in Spanish? We can't put the adjective before the noun. So in Spanish we're going to put the noun and then the adjective. Polución. Los ríos necesitan polución, and then reduced. Now, reducir is an IR verb. So let's take the stem, reduce. And then it's an IR verb, so we add ido. Oh, except, if I add ido on the end, is this going to agree in gender and number with the noun that we're modifying? Polución, it is in CION, is a feminine word. It's a feminine noun, so we have to make it ida. Los ríos necesitan polución reducida. So we have the past participle of reducir. It's agreeing in gender with the noun that is modifying polución, and it comes after the noun. Let's do another example. Recycled paper helps the environment. Okay, in this sentence, what word is the past participle? Recycled. It is an ed. And in Spanish, the verb reciclar can form a past participle, recycled. It's an AR verb, reciclar. So which ending are we going to use? Reciclado. Now, if we want to say recycled paper, we know we're going to have to say, in reverse in Spanish, we're going to have to say paper recycled. So we can start our sentence, el papel. And then we want to say recycled, reciclado. El papel reciclado helps the environment. Ayuda al medio ambiente. El papel reciclado ayuda al medio ambiente. Recycled paper helps the environment. Reciclado is the past participle of the verb reciclar, and we have the stem, and then we have the participle ending ado, and it agrees in gender and number with papel. Now let's just do some other past participles as adjectives, not in complete sentences. Here, for an example, we have controlled deforestation. So in English, we know we're going to have, we put the adjective before the noun, so we're going to have to reverse this in Spanish. So we can say la deforestación, and then we'll put controlled after it. La deforestación and then we want to say controlled. In Spanish, that's controlar, so we'll put the verb stem. For controlar, we drop the AR and add the AR ending for the past participle, ado. But deforestación is feminine, so we have to say controlada. Okay. La deforestación controlada. Now if we wanted to say broken bicycles, then in Spanish we would say las bicicletas. Las bicicletas. And in Spanish, the verb for to break is romper. And this verb is irregular in Spanish. Just like broken is an irregular past participle in English, it doesn't end in ed. In Spanish, broken, rotar is irregular, or romper, romper is irregular, and it is roto. Roto is the past participle. And we can write that, but then we need to think, oh, does this need to agree in gender and number with the noun? Yes. So las bicicletas is feminine plural, so we have to say rotas. Las bicicletas rotas, broken bicycles. If we wanted to say grilled beef, you could say carne for beef, la carne. And then the verb for grill in Spanish is asar, and it's an AR verb, asar. So we would just use the stem, AS, add the ending, and we know that our noun is feminine, singular, so it would be asada. La carne asada. And if you go to the restaurant and order pollo, el pollo asado. Grilled chicken. If you wanted to say the opened window, it would be la ventana. And then we would use the verb for to open, abrir. Abrir is irregular in its past participle, and it would be la ventana abierta. La ventana abierta. Ventana is feminine singular. Oh, we have windows here. It's feminine plural, las ventanas. las ventanas abiertas.